Hey guys, Sarah from Aaron's Outdoor, and in today's video I'm doing something that I definitely don't do very often, and that is fish with live bait, Nightcrawlers to be specific. And I used to, like when I was younger, pretty much all I fished with was Nightcrawlers, and I would just fish them in this pond like all the time, just with a bobber, with a Nightcrawler and a hook under it. And that's not what we're doing today. We're going to be fishing it on kind of a drop shot. So the hook is going to be suspended off the bottom, because this time of year, I mean, it's like late November, almost December, pretty much all these fish are going to be on the bottom pretty much. So I've got a drop shot here that'll be about 10 inches off the bottom. I think that should be pretty good. And the beginning of this video is actually going to be the fishing I did yesterday with these Nightcrawlers in this pond, and I was using a double drop shot rig, so it's basically just the same thing but with two hooks, and that kind of just increased my chances of hooking up with fish. But now I'm kind of low on Nightcrawlers, so I'm just going to use one at a time with the little single drop shot rig. So we'll see what this can catch me today. This will be like the second half of this video. The first half will be what I caught yesterday, but I'm not going to ruin that. So anyway, here's how I did yesterday. I have a fish. No way. Alright, that was my first cast. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of fish today if I caught something on my first cast. First cast with the worms, and ow, oh my gosh, I just hooked myself. Ow, I forgot there's two hooks on here. Alright, well I just hooked myself for a second, but there's a pretty nice bluegill. It might be a bluegill green sunfish hybrid, but it might just be a bluegill. Okay, well there's our first fish of the day, a pretty solid little bluegill there. I wasn't sure what to expect. Like, it is actually a pretty warm day, but it's been pretty cold recently, so I wasn't sure how active the fish are going to be. I mean, I thought, like, I just had these an extra thing of Nightcrawlers, so I thought I might as well use them today. And so far, it's turned out to be pretty good. Oh, there's a fish. Finally got another one. Oh, is it going to be a little bass? It is a little bass. There we go. I mean, that's the nice thing about Nightcrawlers. You can literally just catch anything. So far, we've got one pretty nice bluegill, and now we've got this one little bass. And I do have two hooks on this little, it's kind of like a little double hook drop shot, so we could catch two fish at once. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if we actually will, but we will see. And there's a nice little kind of golden looking bass. Anyway, I'll take that little guy. It's a pretty little bass. There he goes. There's a fish. Felt that bite. I thought they'd be stacked up in this deeper water over here. It seems like he's pretty small. Oh, it's another big bluegill. Oh, and I didn't even hook him in the mouth. He was definitely biting at that thing, but I just kind of hook set him when I felt the bite. Maybe he didn't really have it in his mouth. It's a bluegill. I've caught two bluegill and one bass. Both the bluegill have been like exactly this size. It's like a pretty decent one, but just let him go. There's one. Ooh, feels better. Kinda, I think so. I don't know what it is. Probably a bass. Yeah, it's a bass. Ooh, there we go. It's pretty big. It's actually a decent bass. Tangle up in this tree. Whoa. There we go. Okay, I'm all tangled up in this tree, but it's actually like 1 pound bass probably. It's not bad. This is the first fish that's gotten the top hook. All the rest have just gotten the bottom hook, but maybe since this fish is a little bigger, he's a little more active and willing to go a little bit farther off the bottom. Well, for this time of year, the action's actually pretty good. I usually do not use like live bait at all, really, and definitely not this time of year, but it's definitely working out so far. And I think in these colder months, I should try it more often, but I will take that little bass. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that's a bite. There we go. Yep, we got him. Feels like a bluegill. You can usually feel, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a big bluegill too. This one got the top hook too, I think. Ooh, that is by far the biggest bluegill we've caught. Ooh, yeah, that's a nice one. So I don't know, some of these Some of these bluegill might have a little bit of green sunfish in them, which helps them get bigger. I'm not totally sure if this one does. I kind of think this is probably a green sunfish hybrid. I mean, I don't know though. It kind of just looks like a bluegill. But either way, for some reason we've gone bluegill, bass, bluegill, bass, bluegill. We'll see if the pattern continues and if we'll get a bass next, but that is definitely a solid bluegill right there. Oh, come on. Come back for it, fish. There's something totally biting at it. Oh, it's pecking at it. There we go. It's probably a bluegill, the way he was pecking on it and didn't get hooked at first. Yep. All right, well, we broke the pattern. We broke the bluegill, bass, bluegill pattern. And we got 2 bluegills in a row. And man, he swallowed it. Man, he was biting at it and he didn't have it, but then he must have really gotten it. All right, I finally got this bluegill unhooked. So this one is about the size of the first 2 bluegill we've caught. And then that second one, which is like really big, but all of them have been pretty solid. Definitely been some pretty solid bluegill. Oh, actually I have a fish. What the heck? I didn't think I had one on there. It's a bluegill. All right, that was kind of out in the middle of the nowhere in the lake, but this bluegill found it. So wow, this is probably the second biggest one. All right, well, this double drop shot rig is definitely working pretty well. You know, it's just 2 worms kind of suspended off the bottom, and I know most of all these fish are pretty much right on the bottom or just barely off the bottom, so it's working out pretty well. And it's mainly catching us a bluegill, but we've still got a few bass mixed in there. Oh, it's like my line broke. It did break. I wonder how big that fish was. All right, so yeah, that was yesterday. I caught mainly bluegill and a couple bass. I was really thinking with these night crawlers I could maybe catch a catfish. That's kind of my goal for today. I don't know if it'll happen, but that'd definitely be nice if it did. Oh, is that a fish? Yep, that's a fish. There we go. Wasn't even paying attention. He was pulling it in. He's a little bluegill. This is by far the smallest fish we've caught, I think. Yeah. Oh well. No, he's about the same size as most of the bluegill we caught yesterday. All right, well, I'm kind of starting off where I left off yesterday. There's this huge tree that goes into the water, and I think there's got to be a lot of fish hiding under it. But yesterday, you know, my line broke off to a fish under there, so I think there's probably a bunch under there. Oh gosh, I have a fish on. Oh, he's taking me into the tree. He feels big, but I don't know if he, oh, it's a bass. Oh my gosh, it's a decent bass. Oh my gosh, it's like actually a pretty good bass. Dude, it's like a good bass. It's a good bass. This could have been what broke me off yesterday. Remember when my line broke? This is actually a good bass, dude. It's not a bad bass at all for this pond. Lighten my line a little. I want you to boat flip him in. Watch out, Chloe. Ooh, there we go. A solid bass. Oh my gosh. That guy is close to 2 pounds. I mean, I don't know. He might just be like 1.5 pounds, but still, that's a solid bass for this pond. Well, I am definitely glad I decided to come back over here. I mean, I don't know. Yesterday when my line broke, when I had that fish, it felt like it could have been a nice one. And I don't know. Maybe it was this bass. But yeah, this is a solid, like, probably 1.5 pound bass. I think I might weigh him. He's pretty much looks like he's just about 1.5 exactly. We'll see. £1 pound 9 ounces, so that's a pound or 1 ounce over 1.5 pounds. So pretty much right at 1.5 pounds. I definitely wasn't expecting to catch a fish that nice on those little night crawlers. Oh, that's a fish. Okay, he's still on there. Felt like he might have gotten off. He's running with it. Can't tell how good he is yet. Oh, it's another big bluegill. All right. Well, I moved over here because, I don't know, the action was kind of slowing down by that tree. I did have a fish or two that it bit off part of this worm. But then I came back over this deeper part, and there's still some bluegill stacked up over here, it looks like. All right, well, there's another solid bluegill. My dog is real interested in the fish, as always. We'll let him go. Oh, is that a fish? It is a fish. Couldn't tell. It might be a small one. No, it's another big bluegill. He's digging. Dang. This one's fighting hard, actually. It's another big old bluegill. This one looks extra big. Oh yeah, might be the biggest one we've caught. Ooh, it's pretty dang big. I don't remember how big the one was we caught yesterday. That was the biggest. This one is definitely close to it, if not bigger. Oh wow, and that one looks like it has parasites on it. That's not a good sign. I wonder if I should take him out of the pond. Alright, I don't know if y'all can see that, but this guy's got some parasites on his gills there. Kind of all over his head, so I think I'm going to get rid of this guy, take him out of the pond, just because he's the only fish I've caught that has parasites on him. Maybe ever in this pond. Oh. There's a fish. Right over there. Right where I caught one of the other ones. Man, yeah, it's another bluegill. Alright, well, we have caught some monster bluegill in this video, but we did at least catch that one nice bass, which was definitely a surprise. And alright, this bluegill looks like it has parasites also. Maybe I just didn't notice that on the other ones. I don't even know. I don't know. Both of these fish have parasites on them, and I bet most of the bluegill have parasites on them. Well, this pretty much concludes this video. I did try to dispose of that second bluegill that I noticed had parasites on it, but I kind of failed, and he made it back. He ended up back in the water. So, oh well. I mean, I think if 2 bluegill in a row that I caught had parasites on them, there's probably a lot more than 2 that had parasites. I've never noticed that with fishing this pond before, so hopefully that's not going to hurt the pond. But overall, it's definitely a pretty fun day of fishing, or a fun couple mornings of fishing, I guess I should say. This video is probably only like 2 hours of fishing total, so definitely, like, for the winter, it's definitely some pretty good action for this pond. Typically in the winter I just use lures, like I think I mentioned earlier, and I don't catch that many fish because they're not very active. And I mean, when I'm using lures, I'm pretty much just going after bass, and I guess we did only catch 3 bass in this video, so I guess the bass fishing wasn't like super active, but I did catch a lot of bluegill. They were all pretty nice sized bluegill, and I was definitely surprised to catch that one like 1.5 pound bass. I definitely wouldn't expect to catch that on a Nightcrawler, but anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. But I'll catch you all on that next video. Thanks for watching.